better known as WTX Gamer. Today, I will be doing a deck tech on a mill deck that I've been enjoying. It's not actually the best deck out there, but I was able to take it in a quick constructed to a 7-2 run, which was actually surprising given that it beat one of the aggro decks. It has a problem with control and usually aggro. It does have a draw in which it can beat either. It's just insanely rare. It's just a fun deck. If you like milling your opponents out and you just want to try something a bit janky and a little different with some of the M19 cards, it might be something to look into. So, the deck starts out, and as you can see, it's going to start out with 4 ops because you want the card draw. You want to be able to get some land fixing if you need be. That and with when you add it with Psychic Corrosion, it's just an extra draw to make a mill too. Sillaways for your early creatures to get rid of. It's really good against the black decks whenever they, all their little tap zombies that are starting to be played on Arena. It's good for slowing down aggro. Then Champion of Wits for early game draw. Sometimes I've actually put it into play where I did not use the draw ability because I wanted to keep what was in my hand. Didn't want to risk having to discard something I actually wanted. But late game, when you have your against Psychic Corrosion on the battlefield, your Champion of Wits is a 4 draw and a body on the field. And then, the staple of the deck is Psychic Corrosion from Core Set 19. It's whenever you draw a card, each opponent puts the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard. And that means during your upkeep, during an opt, during a pull from tomorrow, cycling, you draw a card, they mill 2. Straight up, just they mill 2. It's very good. I had the counter control deck that plays all of the commit to memories and is countery itself and tries to play the Torrential Gearhulks. I had that deck shuffle the libraries 3 times in one game against me, and I was still able to mill him out because I had 3 Psychic Corrosions on the battlefield, and he failed to realize that when he memories on that turn, I draw 7 cards. With 2 Psychic Corrosions, that means that's 14 cards per Psychic Corrosion he is milling. So he milled himself for 42 cards and had 10 lands on the battlefield. So 52 cards, which means when I draw on my next turn, that's an automatic 6. And then you have your cast out. Obvious reason it's good. It's good. Low to the ground removal gets rid of things. Problematic creatures, problematic Planeswalkers, problematic enchantments that your opponent may have. Ixalan's Binding to lock down a card out of their deck, which I like Ixalan's Binding and cast out in the deck because sometimes you'll bind something and your opponent will in turn bind your binding. So they bind your binding, you come back out with cast out, take your binding back. Settle the Wreckage I have a 1 of in the deck. I would rather have 2 of in the deck. I just don't have one at the moment. I haven't really tried to build this deck as competitive as possible. It's just, like I said, something janky and fun. Fumigate for real fast decks that you've been able to sustain against, or token-based strategies. You just fumigate, gain some life, add some extra time to your game. Then Patient Rebuilding is the other card in this deck. Patient Rebuilding, at the beginning of your upkeep, target opponent puts the top 3 cards of their library into their graveyard. Then you draw a card for each land card put into that graveyard this way. Sometimes it's a whiff, but you still mill them 3. And then other times it draws the land. So it mills their land, and then you draw a card for each land. The great thing is if you draw a card because of Patient Rebuilding, that again triggers Psychic Corrosion. So that 3 can turn into 5. I've had from one pair of these cards, so Patient Rebuilding into a Psychic Corrosion, I've had it mill a total of, let's see, that'd be 3, a total of 9 cards in one go, which means by the time I upkeep draw, I've milled them for 11 before I ever actually did anything during the turn. Pull from Tomorrow, very powerful with Psychic Corrosion, especially with multiple on the battlefield, because Pull from Tomorrow X and then think they're milling double, and it multiplies per Psychic Corrosion on the battlefield. For the mana in this deck, I am running 10 plains, 11 islands, 4 Glacial Fortress, and 1 Irrigated Farmland. I will change it to all 4 Irrigated Farmlands for the cycle, but I just, again, like I said, I haven't spent a terrible amount of time mana fixing and really tweaking this deck for competitive. I'm more enjoying it for the casual ladder play. However, it has gone 7-2 in Quick Constructed. Currently, there is no sideboard that I have put together for this white-blue mill. I do not really enjoy the actual competitive Constructed, so given that I only play Quick Constructed and Ladder Constructed with the deck, no real point in putting time into a sideboard. As I start to tweak this deck, I may very well try to make it more competitive and change some things and add some sideboards, maybe even without the Patient Rebuilding, and go with Fraying Sanity, something I've been mulling over. But if you like the deck and you like Mill, by all means, please take a look. Give me some advice. Give me your take on it, what you might do differently. Leave your comments in the section below, and have a great day, everybody. Thank you very much for watching.